And welcome into the Bobby Carpenter Show, and excited to have you in here on this wonderful Thursday. Got a big show locked up for you today, and we didn't have AJ on Wednesday, but we have him on Thursday, so that is going to be exciting for everybody, including me. We should be a fun little day. I think he was over at Indy yesterday with Pat as they were previewing what was ended up being a great game with the Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. A lot of fun seeing that thing, and I'm going to be honest, I haven't watched an NBA game more than probably a half to two-thirds, and that was mostly all Cavs games. And you know what? I sat down there, and I'll be darned if I didn't watch probably the last three quarters of it. I watched Animal House with my boys beforehand, and then jumped right into that at the conclusion of Animal House, and so it's probably early second quarter, and it was a fun back and forth game, a lot of enjoyment, and very exciting. So AJ is going to be joining us, and we'll talk a little bit about that and his time in Indy and everything else. So that'll be a lot of fun on his end. Some other big news today that we're going to get to. There's some announcements out of the Ohio State, call them support staff of what that ultimately looks like and what's going on there with it as well. But wanted to start with this, with Damon Arnett right here. We could throw that up, Pat. So Damon Arnett was a cornerback at Ohio State. I believe his last year was 2019, if I'm not mistaken. The 2019 season, he was there. It was him. It was Denzel Ward. It was Sean Waite, or no. Is that Okuda? I don't know. All the years blend together at some point with it. But he played at Ohio State, maybe even earlier than that. He was ended up being a first-round draft pick. And Dame's really, really talented player. Got into a lot of trouble when he was out in Vegas. First-round draft pick, goes out to Las Vegas. And you know what? It was probably the worst place that Dame could have went for himself. He's a guy that needed support. He was a guy that needed structure. And I'm happy for him, the fact that he made his way back to the UFL and was playing for the Roughnecks. And now he's going to have the opportunity to try out with the Houston Texans. I think that they're working him out, I believe, and maybe ultimately signing him. And they talked about some of the serious life changes he's made to become the best version of himself. And this is like kind of a bigger story that I just want to kind of let everybody know about, because like Dame was always one of my favorite guys. Like Urban used to say it all the time, one of my all-time favorites. And I always loved Dame. Dame is, they talk about guys, they have that dog in them. Like Dame had that dog in him. Damon Arnett was a fiery player from Florida. I don't know if he went to St. Thomas Aquinas. I think he did. And so like, he wasn't some hood kid, but he was a little rough around the edges. But he was a product of his environment. When you put Dame with great kids, great young men, great guy. And the fortunate thing for him was he had Denzel Ward that was there with him. Denzel Ward, Cleveland guy, has been doing great things with the Cleveland Browns for the last 7-8 years. And so Damon obviously drafted in the first round, goes out to Vegas, gets in a lot of trouble, man. He's hurt. He's on IR. He's got Instagram videos of him flashing guns up and doing all kinds of nonsense and drinking. I'm like, oh, no, Dame. That's not a good situation. He was part of that class with Henry Ruggs, I think, and all those guys that got in trouble. But he was a product of the people he was around. And Dame at Ohio State, he was, like I said, rough around the edges. Guy would show up late sometimes, just very, very, I would say, immature. But when he was with Denzel, it was all good. But Mick, he had him on Dawn Patrol. He'd have to come in early in the mornings. He was on the Versa Climber doing these crazy hard workouts before he would actually do his workout. And the coaches would have to get in early to go work him out at 5:00, and he'd be throwing up. He'd come in sometimes after a long night, and you could smell it. And he'd be throwing up in the trash can while he's doing it. And I thought for sure he was going to quit. Hell, I would have quit. I like to think that I'm a pretty tough guy in pretty good shape and can handle a lot. I would see him coming in there. I'd see the tail end of it. I'd get about 540 sometimes, and he would just look awful. And then he would have to go do the actual workout with the team. And it was almost like they were daring him to quit. Like, dude, we're going to make this so hard on you that there's zero chance you're going to survive. Well, Dame Arnett survived and was able to make it through the other side to the point where there's 3 levels of groups at Ohio State. You've got the gold, you've got your red, and then you've got your blue. Gold group's the best. Blue group, boom. Do not want to be part of the blue group. Red group is where most of the team lives. And Dame Arnett, I'll be darned if by his last year he didn't become a gold grouper. I told Mick Marotti, I go, that board might fall off the wall if you put Damon. They're little magnets, little name magnets, and you slide them around. And I was like, if you put Dames in the gold, that board might fall off the wall. It'll be like there was some sort of schism. God came down from heaven and boom, you cannot do it because of all the things Dame did. And Dame was on Dawn Patrol for a year. First day, he's able to come in and start working out with the team at the normal time, like 6:15, 6:30, 6 o'clock, something like that. Comes in, Dame shows up late the first day, goes back to Dawn Patrol. And like Mick's like, you got to be kidding me, dude. You came in every day and you're in here at 5 o'clock for like basically a year. Your first time on, just get off and you're off probation now. And then you go rob a liquor store. Like, what are we doing? That was Dame. But I will also say this, like he was a dog on the field. Nobody played harder. No one was more physical. Dame would get after it. He was a muscular guy. He enjoyed getting after it in the weight room when he was in the right group and you had him focused in. He was locked in, man. And I always had a spot in my heart for Dame because my oldest son now he's going to be a sophomore. And I remember, they'd have birthday parties and it was particularly a rough point in my life. It was actually 2018, I think. And maybe 2018. Actually, 2017 is when it was. 2017, it's in the winter. My son's birthday was December 1st. And we had a little birthday party at Roosters over on Olentangy, which was fantastic. They had a great back room. And, it's like, what are you going to do? And it's just, kids, I think he's turning 8 years old. A lot of my friends' kids come. Ryan Miller's son's there. It's like, what are you going to do? Like, well, I got the highlight video from Ohio State at the end of the season. I had him put together some stuff and piece it for me. Play that on the TV. Like, well, what else do you do? As my oldest kid, like, what do you do for an 8-year-old birthday party? So maybe I'll try to get some of the players to come. And that year was awesome. Billy Price and Sam Hubbard showed up. And I remember talking to like Denzel and Dame, and they were great. And I was like, hey, can you come? And I told him a couple months before, or about a couple weeks before. And then I remember a week early, Dame actually gets always like, hey, man, I'm sorry, we're running a little late. I go, it's actually next week, so don't worry about it. And I knew if I invited Damon, he would come as long as Denzel got him there. And Denzel showed up and was like the responsible one. And that's the best part of it. It was almost like, like Bad Boys, Tango and Cash, like the good cop, bad cop. Like they're both good dudes. One's just a little more irresponsible. And I would always tell people this about Damon because it was almost like he got a bad rap, and the video came out with him in Vegas, and it was not good. It was bad. He posts on social media. It's terrible. I'm like, what are you doing, man? But he went to Vegas, probably the worst place that he could have gone outside of maybe Miami. He needed to go to Buffalo. He needed to go to Cleveland. He needed to go to Green Bay or Pittsburgh, a cold weather city that isn't huge, where he's going to be in a really good culture with really good people and limited distractions to get in trouble. But that wasn't how his story was going to go. But when people look back and, they talk about him being whatever and like the stuff, the comments, oh, he's a thug, he's this and that. I'm like, Dame's rough around the edges. But I remember like talking to him, and I had a video of like my son when he was, he's dancing to Transylvania 3, and Dame messaged me. He's like, I posted online. He's like, man, that's my favorite movie too. I'm like, of course it is, man. Like he was just kind of an immature guy, but he's one of the best. He's got one of the biggest hearts. And I didn't know he was even in the UFL. And I guess I saw when he got signed. I didn't know how it was going for him. And I hope now that he has matured enough, like I think that he probably has. And sometimes you got to rock bottom it. And I don't know how much of his NFL money, if he's saved or spent most of it, but I know the defensive coordinator with Houston's Matt Burke, who coached me in Detroit. I'm going to send him a text because Dame's one of my guys, man. He's one of my favorites. And whether you play with guys sometimes or you're around them a lot and you're working out and you see what they have inside, and there's some really good material in there. It just needs to be utilized in the right way. And that was always Dame. And so I said, when he had Denzel with him, it was great. Denzel would take care of him. and make sure that he was where he was supposed to be, doing what he was supposed to do. But if you left him to his own devices at that point, he was a little bit immature. And I'm hoping now at this point in his life and in his career, he's matured, because he was a phenomenal athlete, hard worker, and a tough son of a gun. And at the end of it, he was a really good person. I always ask, the scouts will ask me like about him as a guy, about different players all the time, because they know I'm around them, and I'm going to give them an honest answer with what they are. And I told him, I was like, yeah, man, my threshold is when I leave them alone with my kids, when I let them watch my kids and trust that like they're not going to leave, they're not going to be doing whatever. And I told someone, I was like, man, I let Dave watch my kids. I go, the only problem is with him, he might be hanging out with them. Like they might be out like getting into mischief together, because he just is the guy that would want to have fun, but he would be so engaged and so locked in on it because he's a really good dude at heart. So I'm really happy that Damon Arnett is getting this second chance and he's getting this opportunity. I hope that he makes the most of it, because peeling back the curtain of him, he's a really good dude that was just a little bit immature. And sometimes, just like this Ohio State team this year, you need that story to kind of wind a little bit, because maybe you weren't necessarily ready for everything that was coming to you. And so you need some of that stripped away. And in doing that, you're able to then reset, reframe your mindset to be able to do something unbelievable afterwards. So I'm hoping that the second act to Damon Arnett's career is going to be tremendous, because I really enjoy the guy, and he's going to a spot that I think will be set up for him to be able to have some success. And so I love that, because him and Denzel had always reminded me a little bit of like AJ Schleggs and myself. Those guys would hang out, and they were very different in their own way, but very talented players, and they were fun guys to go back and forth. And Denzel, I think, kind of adopted like the big brother with him, even though I think Denzel may have been younger. At worst case, they were the same age, going through all that. So it was great to see. When I saw that, man, it warmed my heart. So I wanted to make sure I got to that, and we started with it because of selfishly, what Damon Arnett means to me and what he means to my family. Because because of that, he was one of my son's favorite kids, and the players, and there's a reason for that. But with that, I ran across something else that was funny. We got AJ coming up, and so I wanted to make sure that I get to this as well. And I titled this Pat Schleggs on Vacation, and there is a reason why I call it Schleggs on Vacation, because it was one of the most ridiculous things that I've ever seen. And it's a story that takes place in Arkansas, which it's not Florida, but the Arkansas men are pretty remarkable. And they've got their mugshots up here, Pat, so if you want to throw it up. But it's two Arkansas men who were arrested while they're obviously, drinking and doing some nonsense. But what kind of nonsense can you get into when you've been drinking? There's a lot of stuff out there. But what they chose to do, Pat, if we can toss that up, is they got drunk, obviously had some guns. They threw on some bulletproof vests. And you've ever wondered, like, how will bulletproof vests work? How does it work? How much will it hurt when you get hit? Well, they were arrested for shooting each other while wearing bulletproof vests and drinking. I'm like, man, I don't know if I do that at this point in time in my life, but there was a point in time in my life where I might very well do that. And we're going to take a quick break here. I'm going to have AJ comment on this afterwards, because this seems like something that I would have done had I known Schleggs when I was younger, with everything. And so we've got AJ sitting in the hopper. He's going to be ready to go. But I want to tell you about this first. Attention, parents, athletes, protect what matters most with Export mouth guards. Trusted by professional athletes, designed by NHL team dentists. Export mouth guards are scientifically tested to help absorb those high-impact hits, protecting both your teeth and your brain. Export mouth guards feature 3 layers of advanced protection, including a patented use of carbon fiber that they 3D print that bad boy right to your grill for more protection, better performance, max comfort, and clear communication, so you can focus on your game and not on your gear. Do not take chances with your safety. Visit exportguards.com/Bobby. Save 15% on your order. Export, protect what matters most. AJ Hawk coming up next.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
Hey, and welcome back in the Bobby Carpenter Show. And listen, if you're watching, we appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, leave your questions, comments, all the things so we can connect and interact and continue to build this community here. And one of the guys who's always gracious enough with his time to be part of our community is Mr. Aaron James Hawk, back from Indy, ready to go. You maybe saw this when you hopped on in, Age, and I'll throw it back up on the screen. That I saw this and I immediately thought, I was like, would this be something that I would do? You know, the two Arkansas men, you get some booze together. You wonder how does a bulletproof vest work, and does it work? And so maybe you take some shots at each other. Like, how bad does it really hurt when you get shot by it? And I immediately thought of you. I'm like, this is something that Age might enjoy talking about a little bit.
Yeah, well, did they shoot each other? Like, did they each get a chance to shoot each other? Because you would think the person that is holding the gun and shooting at his friend, is he somewhat sober? Or like, I would imagine the drunker guy wears the vest, right?
I think they were both drunk, and maybe they each had their own vest. AJ, and was like, you shoot me and I'll shoot you next. I don't know. Like, it seems like that's something that maybe they put it off, take turns. Like, but you want to be as drunk as possible, probably taking that bullet. But I think to shoot my friend, I'd probably need to be pretty inebriated. You just want to make sure that you're actually hitting it in the bulletproof vest range. Like, that's the important part, I think.
Well, what are they charged with? Wasn't this a consensual shooting? They both agreed to it and said, "Hey, let's shoot each other." I would imagine. Like, who's pressing charges?
That's a good point. Like, there has to be a complaining party, I would have to believe. I mean, you could have like disturbing the peace, disorderly conduct. I mean, I'm guessing, Age, this probably didn't happen at noon. Probably later at night. Maybe the neighbors called the police. That's what some of the chat goes. Who called the cops? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, hey, good. They're both alive, though. They both were alive to take these mug shots, so I guess they won. I mean, they figured it out. The bulletproof vest must work.
Like, what do you think? I mean, because I could see myself being younger and like, hey, I mean, these things work. Like, we're going to get close enough that you can't miss. Probably use some sort of smaller round because you don't want to just smoke yourself. But, like, how bad does it actually hurt? It's like, have you ever been tased? Have you ever, like, tased yourself or anything?
I actually have not. I have not tased myself. Have you?
I got a little taser at the house. I'll zap you. You can zap me. You can see what it feels like. Not one of the crazy, like, nice police ones. It's more like a stun gun type of deal. But there's always that curiosity, AJ. Like, would you be able to kind of handle it? Like, we saw our dude Barton power through multiple tase shots. And I always wondered if I had that ability to kind of be able to do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, a taser's one thing. We got a little taser type stun gun thing as well. But yeah, to actually shoot somebody with a gun or say, hey, yeah, let me strap this vest on. I trust you not only to be accurate enough to hit me where the vest is, but no, I don't think it's something. I don't know. Maybe back in the day, Bob, if you would have showed up with the vest on and handed me the firearm and said, here you go, have a good shot. Like, I don't think I would take that shot, but I don't know. I can never say never, I guess.
So you would have a problem with shooting your friend?
Yeah, I don't want to shoot. I don't want to shoot you, and I'm definitely not wearing the vest and letting you or anybody else shoot me.
What do you mean? I mean, listen, that's all part of the challenge. Like, if I shot you, then hey, if I survive, then I get to shoot you next. Like, we know the bulletproof vest works, right?
I mean, sure. Why don't we go ahead and play Russian roulette while we're at it if we're doing this?
I guess. I mean, that's funny.
No, I guess at this stage in my life, I'm not. I guess that's a little bit risky for what I want to do. I mean, there's like people talking about, oh, would you go skydiving, all that? I mean, yeah, I probably would now, but I don't think I'm letting anyone aim a gun at me and shoot me with a vest on.
I mean, skydiving, it's about the same. You actually probably have a better chance of surviving the bullet wound than you would skydiving. I mean,
get out of here. No way.
I don't know. You did do the Blue Angels flight, and I'm scheduled to actually do that here in August. Talk to me a little bit. Talk me through what I'm going to experience here, and how I should prepare myself to be able to handle that.
It's awesome. So I flew with the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds. So 2 different times, like about a year or 2 apart. I got to do them both. Yeah. I did the Blue Angels up in Wisconsin. And then I think they were in for the Dayton Air Show, the Thunderbirds. I was able to drive to Dayton and go do that. And I puked multiple times with both flights, but they were both amazing. I mean, you're crammed in there. It's like, it's a claustrophobic situation. They drop the canopy over top of you, and then boom, they do like a unrestricted climb or whatever on the takeoff, where they just get off the runway and then shoot straight up, and dude's doing whoop-de-woos and whirly birds as you don't even know which way is up and which way is down. And I got I mean, I don't think you're not like me. Like I get sick in the back of cars. I get seasick on boats. I'm not scared to puke ever. So my first time with the Blue Angels, though, I puked like 7-8 minutes into the flight, probably, as he was, doing some different. He would do a sweep maneuver, pull some G's, whatever, and then he would fly like straight and level, let me puke. I would tie it off, put it in my cargo pocket of the flight suit they gave me, and then we go do another one. And then, luckily they had multiple bags. It was almost like they had the dog turd bags that people carry around with them, They're dogs turds. It's like I had one of those in the plane, and I remember asking the pilot, I'm like, after I puked the first time, like, so what do I do with this? He's like, just, try to tie it off and not spill it and put it in your pocket. And then I landed the first time. I remember I landed, and they did it so you could like promote the local air shows. That's why they take people on these flights a lot of times, or promote whatever. And as I landed, like on the tarmac was multiple local media members, and I'm just ghost white, sweating, and have multiple puke bags zipped up in my cargo pockets and sitting there doing like a local interview. So it was definitely a test for me. It was amazing.
Did you? One of the videos I saw, it looked like you passed out in it.
I think both of them I flickered for a little bit when they do their whatever they call the final, like when they're pulling, what is it? You get a little plaque too, like pulling 7-8 G's, something like that, maybe 9. I don't know if it was that high, but they do this crazy maneuver, and they teach you before, like the whole technique to push through your legs and try to push blood back up into your brain, because I guess it sucked all the blood from your brain. That's why you pass out. And I remember I started to do like the breathing as we're pulling this crazy maneuver, and I'm doing the breathing, like, and then I just started yelling, my fundamentals weren't great in the moment. I felt like I was starting to flicker, and I just started yelling, and then I popped back up, and I was like, I didn't, what happened? I didn't pass out, did I? And the guy's like, yeah, I think you might went under for a little bit. And so it was quick.
I mean, did you ever at one point ask the guy, like, how do you do this? Like, how do you not black out and throw up on yourself?
It blew my mind. I'm thinking like, hey, I'm just a passenger. I'm just sitting here. I have nothing to do, and I'm dying in here. And it's so like crazy and difficult to figure it out. And I'm thinking, oh, this guy he is using his feet and his hand. He is taking on all these same forces, but he's actually maneuvering the plane and doing all of it. Yeah, I mean, unbelievable respect for all those people that do that. Everyone around it too. You'll see like all the support staff, everybody that they do. Like, it's really, really cool, everything they do.
What's wild too is, like, they asked me to do it, and I declined because I was like, man, I can still ride roller coasters, not to the degree like Caleb. We're at Kings Island, dude. He's like just running back in line. Like, dude, I've ridden the Beast 3 times in 20 minutes because there's no one in line. Like, I need to chill, bro. Or like I can do it, but I might throw up. And so I told one of the pilots, that's the closest thing I've got to doing, like, handling that. I mean, where else do you find a way to pull those G's? And I was watching Top Gun again the other night, the second one, and it's like Tom Cruise is 60 doing this. And, I know you said you get car sick in the back of cars. Did you ask the pilot, like, is it a situation where if I'm driving that it's better? Like, if I'm the one steering and I'm in control, then I wouldn't get as sick?
I mean, it might be. I would assume that's the case. I think those guys too, like they say like they get better and better with it. The more they've had a billion reps doing it in simulators and everything. So they've been tested, but it's not even like the sickness, like the crazy G's that they're pulling. Like, they could, I mean, I know it's dangerous. If those dudes pass out in the middle of one of those things, it's tough to recover from that, I would assume. So it's wild. Like, I think you will love it. I don't know if you're going to puke or not. Some people go up there and they just look like they're having a great time. They're not sweating, like they're not puking. Like, I had a great time. I loved it, but it was like I said, I think I puked 8 minutes in my first time because there was a little GoPro on me and I saw the clock on it. and we had a 45-minute flight. So like I was fighting it for 40, 38, 40 straight minutes. Like, here we
Oh
go.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Was that your GoPro or did they give you one for
It was already in there when I got
Okay.
there. It was not mine now.
All right. Well, that's good because I want to document this. Because I remember I saw the video of it with you, and I was about to ask how 45 minutes, dude. I was thinking this might be like 15 to 20. It's like a roller coaster, dude. I mean, the Beast is 4 minutes long, and that's like the longest roller coaster in the world. 45 minutes sounds like almost torture. Did you eat beforehand?
Yeah, they said like try to eat a little bit or whatever. Like, but I realized early on it doesn't matter what I did. I could have gone to the largest buffet in the world. I could have not eaten. I could have eaten a little bit. I was puking no matter what. I mean, I knew before we took off. I was sitting there and I was so like, and you're much bigger than me. I'm already kind of getting claustrophobic, but I was sitting there. I was like, all right, this is so cool. This is awesome. And the guy says like, well, if you put your mask on, there's you can turn like the oxygen on and it gives you kind of fresh oxygen after you puke. It might help you out a little bit. So I'm like trying to put the mask on, take it off, and then put it on. I'm sweating more, getting sick. Like it was a battle, man. It's definitely not torture, but being up there and knowing like, hey, there's no way I'm telling this guy, hey, turn around, let's go land early. Like I couldn't do that. That's not an option.
Yeah, 100%. Once you commit to it, like the last thing you're gonna do is be the guy that like taps and gets on out of
I
there.
told him both times. I told all the pilots, everyone involved. I said, I'm just letting you know I'm gonna puke. I get sick, or they're like, oh no, we got some techniques. We'll teach you whatever. You'll be fine. I'm like, yep, you can say that. I'm not gonna be like I'm not acting like the Tommy Tough guy up here saying, no, you can't make me pass out. You can't make me puke. Like I went in saying all of it's gonna happen. Like everything is on the table.
Were you more nervous the second time after knowing what it was going to be, or more nervous the first of the unknown?
The second time, because I knew, like the first time, just all excited. This is cool. This is awesome. Like, can't believe I'm able to do this. And the second time, I thought that for sure. But then, as I was strapping in, well, it's different too. The Blue Angels, they don't wear like the whole flight compression suit. You wear like a jumpsuit, but the Thunderbirds, they put the whole flight suit on you, where it tries to it inflates as you're pulling more G's to try to help the blood go back to your brain. And that almost got me sicker, because as we're doing this, I could feel this thing start pressing down my chest and everything. And I didn't know which way was up, Bob. It was a battle. And so I knew, like, as we were taxiing out the second time, when I did it with the Thunderbirds, and my kids came and they got to watch, two of my older ones got to come for that. I knew, like, oh man, I remember how I felt last time I did this now. Like, this is going to we're in for another 45-minute ride.
Oh gosh. That's what
I'm glad I did it. No regrets. I'm glad I did it both times though.
Well, and that's the thing. I've been asked, it's like, trying to figure it out. I'm like, you know what? This may never come again. AJ did it. Like, I love Top Gun. I'm like, even if I throw up and look terrible, and sick, there's no chance I'll ever get to do this again. So they may quit asking. So I had to do it. I just want to talk you through that a little bit, because I was like, I've had some questions about it, and I'm starting to think it's coming up. It's going to be in August. So got the summer to prepare and train. Tom Cruise makes the statement in the Top Gun Maverick where he's like, when you're pulling out of there, it'll feel like an elephant is crushing your chest. Is that an accurate assessment of what that feels like?
Yeah, for sure. When they do whatever the final maneuver deal was to pull the G's to get you the little plaque that they give you, it's this crazy long, like swooping, whatever, I forget what they call it. But as that and they'll count you down, and they'll tell you exactly what's coming up. Here we go in, and they're real calm. Their voice is amazing. How these guys are like ultimate pros. Yeah, I would say so. I'm starting to think. I remember they would tell you, all right, here we go. We're going to start this in 3, 2, and he'd start it, and I would start doing the whole kipping, breathing situation like way too early. So I'm like gassed out before we even get to the max G's. So I didn't handle it as well as you should.
Oh goodness, that is wild. That is some wild stuff. Wage, if you can hold on a second, we're going to take like 1 minute break. We're going to come back with more AJ Hawk after this. All right, back with our guy AJ Hawk, and AJ, we're talking about that flight experience. And right now, it's actually camp season in Ohio State. It's the last week of all their camps, And I know your senior camp is that when you got offered at Ohio State?
Yeah, my junior summer, heading into my senior year, that's when I got offered.
Yeah, it's like being a rising senior. If you were going to be a senior in this class of 2026, 25 football season, this would have been where you got offered. Like this time, they've got different camps. They've got them going on right now. And so we just talked about how nerve-wracking that was. One time in the unknown, another time into the known. What was it like for you going to that camp? And I think at that point, would you have an offer from Bowling Green and Penn State or something, or what was the situation?
Yeah, it's a good memory. I believe before that, I got Penn State was like my only other really Big Ten offer, I think, before I went to camp, and it happened right before that. And then some MAC schools mixed in, I guess, going into that. Yeah, probably June of going into my senior year camp.
How nervous were you going into that senior camp, knowing that this is like you're in front of all the coaches? You obviously wanted to go to Ohio State, and this is your chance to then, show them what you got physically after missing most of your. Or no, you were fine your junior year. It was your senior years when you tore your PCL.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I was somewhat anxious and nervous. I think I was also like, at the same time, I was excited and almost like pissed. Like, all right, here we go. Like, they better offer me today. Like, hopefully, I wanted to go to Ohio State from the jump always, and so I was just doing whatever it took to get an offer. And I understand like they shouldn't have offered me before that. I needed to go to camp and show them I can move and run and change direction and all of that. But I was definitely knew. I definitely knew like, all right, if I don't get an offer here, there's not a really great chance it's going to come after this or like early on in my senior year and everything. And I ended up getting hurt the first game my senior year. And I thought, oh man, I remember talking to Jim Haycock. I'm like, are you guys going to pull my offer? Like, he's still there. And luckily he was like, we got right back. And he was, don't worry, you're good to go. Just rehab and do all your stuff you need. You'll be fine.
It's wild because that's real. You don't know. I mean, like, hey, tore your PCL. Like, hey, dude, I know you just gave this to me like 3 months ago. I don't have anything to sign yet because you can't sign until signing day. Is this thing going to be transferable to another player? Because our class was really big too. It was obviously Tress's first class. Someone asked in here, AJ, I didn't throw questions up. What do you think you would have done if you didn't end up playing football?
Oh, geez. Well, I went to school, majored in criminology. I wanted to be a cop for a long time. So that would have probably been my path, honestly. I don't think I would do, I'm definitely nothing with numbers. I'm not a numbers guy, that's for sure. I've been tested. I'm basically, when it comes to numbers, my brain does not compute. My brain has never worked with numbers. I need to be out there doing something active, I think. So I think I would have probably, gone somewhere into law enforcement. I don't know where that would have taken me, but that was my plan if I didn't play football.
Officer Hawk. So here's the thing, AJ. This brings me back full circle all the way to the beginning because I thought that was going to be your answer since I knew you were a crim major. And you're telling me you wouldn't get shot by, I think to be a police officer and wear the vest, you have to get shot in the vest to make sure that you understand that it's good.
I mean, if that's what it takes, I don't think that's the standards that they have. I mean, that'd be amazing if they're doing that and we don't know about it and everyone has to take a shot with the vest on. I know you do have to get tased though, I believe, at least to be a cop. I've seen those videos where people hang on to their arms as they fall and they're getting like the projectile taser, which is more powerful. I would take that, but I think it's still a hard no on the wearing a vest and letting somebody shoot me.
And then last question before we get you out of here. Have you ever wanted to get into coaching?
No, not at any level past like 5th, 6th grade. I have not. That's where most of my coaching specialty comes like 2nd grade to 6th grade, I think. And then 7th grade, 8th grade, they're on to school ball. Then I let the teachers and everyone else handle it. But now, I mean, I'm too hunkered in here in Dublin, here in Ohio. I don't want to move around. And I don't know. It's overwhelming to think about what it takes to be a coach. Even to be a high school football coach is a massive, massive investment and a massive amount of time that I don't know. I don't know if I'm willing to do that. I don't think like the college or pro game. I love football and I love watching it and talking about it and figuring things out, but I don't think I could be a coach.
Oh, I think you'd be better than you think about it. But I do know they've got a new coach up at Dublin, Jerome, and they might be asking you to kind of come around a little bit and maybe not be a coach, but just help out a little bit with some of the guys. So
Mark Crabtree, he's awesome. He's an awesome coach. My kids just did Jerome football camp. They had a huge turnout. It was awesome. So yeah, I think they're doing some awesome stuff. And I've talked to Crabtree. I wouldn't mind going up there and seeing those guys. I got Laura's nephew will be is a rising senior on the team. So yeah, it's fun, man. It's a good time to be around football, and we're almost here. Like we're getting very, very close to football season.
I think the term is dangerously close, and you're getting dangerously close to being on with Pat. Enjoy it today, sir. Have a good time, and I appreciate it as always.
All right, thanks, man. I'll see you.
That is my guy, Mr. Aaron James Hawk, one of the best guys you're going to find, and that was good. We got to without the interruptions of Schlegs, it's so much more fluid. I mean, he does provide a lot of the content and the humor, and so that's awesome. But that was a lot of fun in our guy age, making a way for us, because obviously bouncing around with Pat, going to be in a lot of different places. And I was like, listen, can you go on Thursday? I go, I need to get a guest every day because I'm not going to sit here and scream into a microphone by myself. We got some other really good stuff and some big things that are coming up, some big news out of Ohio State and some things that we'll talk about here. And we always have our tailgate talk where I get to answer your questions. So thanks for firing some questions at AJ, and we'll get some other stuff answered straight away here. I want to tell you about our friends over at Backer. It's bckr.com. They have premium hats, premium jackets, founded to make better quality Buckeye fan gear. Their stuff, it's going to be different, it's unique, and it's the highest quality stuff you're going to find. They've got windbreakers that are awesome. The rain gear is great. The hats are great. The cold gear, all of it. And Father's Day is coming up. Use promo code Bobby, BOBBY, all caps, for free expedited shipping. Go get the good stuff. Go to backer.com. That's BCKR.com, so you can get the high quality gear that I love and I love to wear. And thankfully it's hot now, but during the spring, I was rocking my Backer gear. Coming up next, we got our headlines, so stay locked in on the Bobby Carpenter Show.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
Welcome into our headlines, brought to you by our friends over at Lake Spur Marketing, full-service ad agency built on trust, built on strategy, built on performance. They do a great job for you. Why? Because they're experienced. Over 100 years in marketing experience that's going to be brought to the table. They eliminate the waste. They deliver on budget. The Lake Spur team, what are they going to do? They're going to shield you from the nonsense, the stuff that you don't want to be a part of, from the outside noise, the cold callers, all those different things. And they're going to let you do what you do best, work on your business while they help you grow it. Don't chase the clicks. They build partnerships. Lake Spur Marketing, the proof is in their partners. And one of the guys who's been a great partner to the media and to Ohio State throughout his tenure, and he's been there for quite some time. And, it's a tough job that they do. The director of communication for the football team, Jerry Emig, who's been at Ohio State for quite some time. He's an associate athletic director, and after 15 years in the sports, let's call him SID, Sports and Information Director. Basically, they handle all the communications, all the comms. He announced he's going to be retiring in March. And so you're thinking, okay, what is it? It's June. So he's going to be basically running through one more football season with Ryan Day. 15 years. He started here when Urban, I believe, came in. And unbelievable job that he's done. And working with Urban, college coaches are tough to deal with now. Some are more tough than others. Urban was one of the more tough guys. You know why? Because how does the SID, Urban's looking at the SID, and a lot of coaches look at it like this, like, how are you helping me win games? You are taking my time and taking my brain space and taking my activity. All I want to do is go focus on winning. That's my primary objective. That's what the fans care about. They don't care if I'm doing interviews if we're not winning. They don't care if we're doing press conferences if we're not winning. All they want to see is the wins. They want to see us recruiting, getting better players, having meetings, having practice. And so the SID, it's a tough job. And meanwhile, you've got members of the media and people like me, I guess, people more accomplished than me, calling, hey, we want to do a press conference. Can we do a sit down with this player? Can we do a sit down with this coach? And so he's got to juggle all that. When is practice time? And also, I love people in the media. They always get so fired up. They're like, oh, we were supposed to have the coach's availability at 6:30. I'm like, Jerry tells you to get there at 6:30 because on the off chance practice gets over early, you need to be there. But in reality, I'm like, this practice is going until 7:00. So you're going to have to sit there and wait. And that's just the reality of when you're in non-essential personnel. And so Jerry's always had to manage that. And he does a great job. He's got a great temperament for it. And so he's going to be sorely missed at Ohio State. He's been a big attribute to the football program. He's done a great job of publicizing and talking about the positive stories and the positive aspects and elements of the Ohio State football team. And it hasn't gone unnoticed. He doesn't draw a lot of spotlight to himself. He's always been somebody that likes to stay under the radar, doesn't like to make himself the story, and just wants to be someone who does a great job helping tell the story of Ohio State football. And like I said, at times it can be a very thankless job and unforgiving job. But this is my thank you to Jerry Emig for everything he's done over the last 15 years. He's always been great to me. I appreciate it. We haven't always agreed on everything, but we've always been able to disagree and talk very respectfully. And the Ohio State football program is better for him being around it. And so, Jerry, tip of the cap. Thank you, sir. You're going to be sorely missed at Ohio State. And that's it for our headlines. He gets his only one. He gets the top billing because he's such a great dude. Our guy, Jerry Emig. Coming up, we got our Tailgate Talk brought to you by Real Truck, where we answer your questions. I'll dive into some of those questions that you ultimately have. And if you've got any more, fire them up. See you here after the break. Right now, we got our Tailgate Talk brought to you by our friends over at Real Truck. They do a great job bringing your truck, Jeep, or Bronco to life, so be sure to check them out at realtruck.com. Some questions here. Number one, someone asked, who is going to, I think Phil, who will succeed Jerry Emig? I don't know if they know that yet. Like when Gene announced his retirement, they didn't know who was going to replace him. They didn't know it was going to be Ross. They had a search, and it was all part of that. And so, yes, that's why he's retiring in March. Not when they saw that, I was like, at first I thought, okay, when is it? Okay, he's got one more football season. Because at first I thought when he was stepping down, like, okay, well, he might step down at the end of August, or like July 1 is when they kind of flip the fiscal year. So maybe he would do it then. But that'd be tough coming into football season, especially coming off a national championship. You got the Texas game at home. Big expectations, a lot of stuff there. Glad Phil got a light bar on his new truck from Real Truck. Thank you, Phil, for supporting our folks. So I don't know if they know about that yet as well. So that's obviously something that they've got plenty of time to ultimately figure it out, try to figure that out. Steely Matt threw this in the chat as well. Said, saw a picture of Andy Katzenmoyer recently. Looks tough as nails. So I'll tell you my brief story about Andy Katzenmoyer. Andy was the guy. I think AJ would probably testify to this. Like every linebacker growing up that was probably our age wanted to be Andy Katzenmoyer. Dude was a monster, unbelievable player. And for me, even more so, like I went to Lancaster. We played Westerville South my freshman year. Now, granted, Andy was already at Ohio State, but played against Brandon Joe, and they were a really good program. Kajana Carter was there before. And I had Andy's USA Today like player of the year. He had the full top cover. Maybe it was split top and bottom, but he was the defensive player of the year. And I remember had, height 6'3", weight 245, 40, 4'5", bench, 350, squat, 500, whatever. I'm like looking at these numbers when I'm in 8th grade thinking, there's no way in hell I'll ever get to those. Like that's not even physically possible for me. And my dad would laminate everything. So we had it. Heck, it's probably at his house still. And that was always my goals. Like those were my benchmarks. And that was the dude, man. And recently we've got to become friends with him, and he's an awesome guy. And I saw him. We were going up to this thing in Northwest Ohio at a charity event, riding up on this bus. Bob Hoying put it together. It's at his hometown. And I'm looking at Andy's legs, and they just look huge sitting there on the bus seat beside me. We're having a drink. I'm like, damn, Andy, like, how often do you still lift your legs? And he's like, Bob, I haven't lifted legs in 6 months. I'm like, what? Like, how is it possible that your legs still look like that? So big, thick, strong, and meaty, and just out of control. And like huge calves. Like Andy was a guy who I watched. He could flat foot, two hand, like no step, jump and touch 11 feet in the air, weighing like 270 pounds. Like he's one of the most gifted guys ever. And so, yeah, he still looks like a monster because he is a monster. We'll save one of the other questions in there because AJ, what would you have done if you weren't coaching, or if you didn't get into playing and then media? We'll talk about that a little bit later, because that Andy story, I wanted to make sure I got it in, because it was just getting a chance to meet him then and then working out with him. I'm like, no matter what I did, I could never be that. I would never be able to be that. God did not give me the frame and the ability to pack on muscle. Like I could run fast, but I could never get that big and be that explosive and still that fast. Like it just not without performance enhancers. And even then, I don't know if I still would have been able to get to what Andy is. He was a monster and a freak, and he was my idol growing up. And I always like to tell him that because he laughs at it now, but it's the truth. But that's it for Tailgate Talk by Real Truck. Thank you for your comments, questions. Keep firing those away. Got some sweet Buckeye news. Not part of the football team, but some Buckeye news as part of the Open right now, which is awesome to see and awesome to hear about one of our Buckeyes and what they're able to do on the golf course. That coming up next. So, final segment of the program here, the parting thoughts. Well, Max Moldovan, Ohio State Buckeye, playing in the U.S. Open out at Oakmont. And first player ever, you just let that play, first player ever to card a 2. Hits the eagle on number 2 on Oakmont during the U.S. Open. Let's take a little peek here. Oh, you got the tracer. Ball's looking. I love how golfers like to hit it and they kind of roll back. Like I can tell immediately if I hit a good shot or a bad shot. A little short, look at it running up. Whoosh. Oh, it's in the hole. Max Moldovan, congratulations, sir. Carding the first ever 2 at the U.S. Open at Oakmont. Doesn't get much better than that for the Eagle. The only way it'd be better is if you're getting an Eagle on a par 3 and ultimately getting that ace. That would have been tremendous. But congratulations. Kudos to him. We'll be back again tomorrow. Jeremy Birmingham to join us, break down all the recruiting news and everything from the last couple of weeks. Stay locked in right here on the Bobby Carpenter Show.